Good evening, Americans, and welcome to the Ed Show tonight from Columbus, Ohio. These Americans behind me tonight, 10 years ago, they were made out to be heroes because they were, and they are today. Nothing's changed. These firefighters, this profession, 10 years ago, every politician in America was saying, hey, they are the model of America. And now that we have just celebrated the anniversary and observed the anniversary of 9/11, 10 years after the fact, these firefighters, they're trade bait in state budget negotiations here in Ohio. I'll stand with the nurses, I'll stand with the teachers, and tonight, I stand with the firefighters. America, who are you with? This is the Ed Show. Let's get to work. Tonight, folks. This is the scene in Columbus, Ohio tonight. And just about a mile from here is where the governor resides. I tell you what, I got a chair for the governor right here. We're waiting. I'd really like to talk to the governor on the Ed Show because I'll ask him questions he won't get on Fox about these workers. You know what I mean? Because you see, John Kasich and his Ohio business buddies, they're trying to convince the residents of this state that teachers, police officers, firefighters, hey, they're living high on the hog. Now, today, the Toledo Blade newspaper reported, we were there last night, they reported on a study that was commissioned by Ohio business leaders, which says public employees receive more generous compensation than the private sector employees do in this state. Who was the study done by? Well, the American Enterprise Institute, a right-wing think tank out of Washington, D.C. The report, this isn't worth the paper it's printed on. It shows public sector workers earn 43.4% more than private sector employees. The study uses, I think, garbage math to equate job security to a 10% bump in pay. Kasich wants to turn public opinion against the people who educate our kids in the state, keep our streets safe, and protect the public. Kasich wants to hammer these workers and line the pockets of his business buddies. The governor wants state employees to take a cut, but he gave massive pay raises to his own chief of staff. Chief of Staff Beth Hansen got almost a 40% raise over Ted Strickland's chief of staff. Hansen has taken a leave of absence to join a group committed to keeping Senate Bill 5, the law of the land, here in this state. Now, last night, the Ed Show was in Toledo. We stayed at a place called the Park Inn in Toledo. Looks like a normal hotel motel in downtown. It's a $42 million complex. It was built 24 years ago. Today, the Toledo Blade newspaper reported that the Park Inn was sold to the Chinese investors for $3 million. This in addition to other acquisitions that the Chinese have made in the city of Toledo. I ask you to be a fair-minded American tonight. Is this really what you want? No. Do you want foreign countries to come in and own our soil, and to own our bricks and mortar, and to own our jobs, and to own our economy? I don't care if you're a hard right-wing conservative. I don't care if you're a Republican and you don't agree with me every night on this program or on my radio show. Explain to me, righties, how can you think that this is a good thing, that China is buying up what we have in this country? Tell me what the future is for our workers. Ever been to China? I haven't. I've heard all the stories. I've read all the accounts about how they treat their workers. Well, I'm going to have to go to China. I'm going to have to go to China and find out if it's really the truth. Because last night when I was in Toledo, Ohio, I saw the truth. Because you see, I've read about the empty buildings. I've read about and heard all the stories about the manufacturing jobs being lost. But when you drive by those buildings that are empty, it did something to me. And when I picked up that paper this morning before I left Toledo to come here to Columbus, and I read that the Chinese have bought the complex that I just slept in last night. Hell, I guess I'm a trivia question now. I was the last guy to sleep in the Park Inn before they sold it to the Chinese. I mean, please, for a moment, forget politics. How can we as Americans believe this is the right way to go? I think about some of the great Americans on the other side of the aisle who served in World War II. I think about Bob Dole, the former senator from Kansas who spent 30 years in the Senate and ran for president. Mr. Dole, give your party some counseling right now. Give these folks some words of wisdom. The sacrifices that your generation made for America is now being sold off to the Chinese. And you know what? Here's what's going to happen. Other foreign countries are going to see what's happening in America, and you know what they're going to do? Since we don't have anybody that wants to play with the cash and invest in American workers and factories, you know what they're going to do? The other countries, they say, hey, we want to get a piece of that action. There's this political angst going on in America right now. We're even fighting over firefighters. We're saying that they make too much. They're saying that they're living high on the hog. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question. Should Republicans stop using firefighters as political pawns? Text A for yes. Text B for no to 622-639. And you can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com. I said at the start of this broadcast, I'm with the firefighters. America, I'm asking you, who are you with? Joining me now is Jack Reel. He is the president of the Columbus Professional Firefighters, Local 67. Also with me tonight, U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio and also Congressman Tim Ryan of Ohio. Both have been in Ohio all their lives. They know what this Buckeye State's all about. Chief Reel, I got to ask you, where were you 10 years ago this week?
10 years ago this week, I was in New York City working night shift right now on the pile at the World Trade Center, searching for my colleagues, firefighters from the FDNY, and at the time we thought tens of thousands of victims from the September 11th attacks.
And 10 years after the fact, here you are fighting to save what?
I'm fighting to save my colleagues again. They just happen to be above ground, and they're the ones that work with me every day.
Can you believe you're in this position?
No, I can't believe I'm in this position. It's as I told the senator, it's at the same time embarrassing and disgusting.
You're getting kicked, aren't you?
Oh, we're getting kicked. I was driving down the street the other day and had a person roll down their window and tell me firefighters are worthless. And it's because of this rhetoric that's being spewed out that we're overpaid, we are lazy, we're thugs. It's just ridiculous.
Senator Brown, what is Senate Bill 5 if it stays in place? What will it mean to this state, the fabric of this state?
It's the beginning of the end of the middle class. I mean, that what unions have meant, whether they're public employee or private sector unions, they've meant a strong middle class in our state. We're the third leading manufacturing state in America. Only New York and California make more things than we do. They're much bigger states. Our people know how to make things in Ohio, and it's been the union movement, it's been firefighters and police and teachers and auto workers and steel workers and chemical workers who have created the middle class and created prosperity. And my wife, her dad carried a union card in Ashtabula at the power plant for 37 years. That's how she got to go to Kent State. and that's how she got to become a writer and work for a newspaper. And that's what a union card does. That's what the middle class is about. And and I look at, we got a lot of problems in the state. We got a lot of job loss. And I thought, as I know Tim Ryan did, the beginning of this year, that the governor and the legislature would go to work. How do we create jobs? Instead, they went after workers. They went after bargaining rights. They went after voter rights. They went after women's rights. And they divided this state when it didn't need to be divided. Yeah. And that's what was so tragic.
Congressman Ryan, how, in your opinion, can a governor justify attacking middle-class workers, wanting more of their pension, wanting more of their health care, wanting to cut their wages, wanting to take away their voice in the workplace, and yet giving his staff a 40% raise in some instances?
Well, I think when you compare him to Governor Strickland asked every